Huge changes coming to Hawthorn for our clash against the Power, and 2 stars are ready to come back in. Let's talk about it. Firstly, before we get into it, we have to talk about what Hawthorn and Sam Mitchell learnt from our last week's clash against Fremantle. Against the Dockers, we led by 13 at 3/4 time and finished the game with more scoring shots, yet we didn't score a single goal in the last quarter. And the main reason for that is simply for the fact that we subbed off an on-baller and then put another on-baller in the ruck, so we were down on numbers for the whole last quarter, and that being Mackenzie coming off as a sub and Nash going into the ruck. And immediately we were lacking, like you could tell, and especially with Chol having 0 impact and arguably should have been subbed off, he didn't get moved into the ruck, which made no sense to me. So I think Sam Mitchell was going to make some adjustments and improve on our game this week against the Power. First things first, Jack Scrimshaw has to come back in this week, and I think Finn McGuinness is going to come out. Scrimshaw had 26 touches and 6 marks in the VFL last week and is back in form and ready to come back into this side. Especially with Weddle out, he is definitely a missing piece and will bring a big impact and a big improvement to this team. And I think Jath is going to start as a sub and come on and play between wing and half back, which I think is great for the team. He brings fresh legs. Anytime this season he's played that role, he's played it well. And if you're thinking about, we have too many bigs down back now, for one, Weddle's out, and for two, just start one on the bench and then make the first rotation another tall, maybe a Battle, a Sicily, whoever one of those guys to come off, and just keep the team a bit more balanced. The next big inclusion is Mitch Lewis. He kicked 5 goals in the VFL last week and he should come back in. He's ready to come back in. I was thinking hold off until the Carlton game, bring him back against a weaker side, but at this point, Port Adelaide have Rosie, Horn Francis, Rioli and Radicalier, who is their full back, out. All of them are out. So I think it's probably going to be an easier game against the Power this week, especially in Tassie. We have a great record down in Tassie, and I think this week will be the perfect week to get Lewis back in, slowly ease him into it against the lower quality sides in Port Adelaide and then Carlton next week, and rest Gunston. Rest him this week, and then probably next week as well, and then keep him fresh for the Collingwood game on Thursday night in 2 to 3 weeks' time. Now, before I heard about the Port Adelaide injuries, I would have said definitely keep Gunston in and wait for Lewis to come back against Carlton the following week. But I think just going on the situation, it would be a perfect time to ease them back into it. And sort of by finals time, they'll have their form. And especially, like I said before, coming back against lower quality sides will probably be a perfect situation for Lewis and the team. But now, the question is, do we play 4 talls? In my opinion, no, but it's doable. We can work it out. For example, we can't play 4 talls simply for the fact we haven't done it all season. And it would be stupid to start now, especially in the back end and arguably the toughest point of the home and away season at this time of the year. But if we were to go with the 4 talls, this is what we would have to do to make it work. Firstly, one would have to start on the bench, alright, because we have too many small forwards and we couldn't really take one out. It would kill the flow of the team and just the way we've been playing all season. So one would definitely have to start on the bench. And Gunston's a hybrid. He can play tall and small. Obviously mostly tall, but he's sort of a medium forward, right? He's sort of a hybrid forward, I like to call it. So Gunston could start on the bench also, but he could play that hybrid forward. Then Chol would have to play more ruck minutes, arguably maybe 50-50, maybe 60-40, 60 forward, 40 in the ruck. And we've seen so far this season, with Ramsden in, it helps Meek out a lot, and Meek plays better with the second ruckman. Even if Meek just has a little bit more time on the bench just to stay fresh, or he just stays a kick behind the footy when the ball's in the forward line, and either Chol or Ramsden can ruck, it makes both of them better, and it makes the whole team better in general. So that could definitely work. Another situation would be play a little bit more midfield than he already is. Even though I don't like him playing as much midfield as he does, keep him in the midfield a tiny bit more, maybe just 5%, 10% more than what he already is, and maybe rotate Connor McDonald through the wing, just so there's an extra position up forward for one of the talls if we potentially play 3 in the same forward 50 at once. Especially if someone like CJ is as the sub and he's going to come on for fresh legs, give us a run off halfback, fresh legs and run through the wing. One would have to get subbed off either at halftime or between halftime and 3/4 time. Like, no if, buts or maybes, one of them would have to come off. You couldn't take Gunston off unless the other 3 are playing great games. You couldn't take Chol off because you'd need him as a second ruckman, because as we saw last week against Fremantle, if Chol's not in the ruck and Nash is, then the whole team is just slightly worse than what we could be otherwise. So that's the situation there. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, because it's going to be a tricky one. Or potentially we just go with 3 and one of them unfortunately has to miss out. But you couldn't leave Chol out. Like I said, he's a second ruck. And then Kalsh kicked 3 in his first game last week. Gunston's been our leading goal kicker all season, so it has to be Lewis. But Lewis is our main forward when he's playing at his best, so it's a serious headache, but it's a good headache to have. But as we saw at the start of the year with our backline, when we had Barris, Battle, Sicily, Weddle and Scrimshaw, there was too many talls, not enough smalls, and it was unbalanced. So we've seen it firsthand that extra tools in whatever position, forward or back, it doesn't work as well as it could. But I forgot to mention earlier, when Chol, Deer, and Gunston played last year all together, we went 9-2. So a combination of 3 of them, especially if Chol can play ruck, it works. It makes the team better. But 4 of them, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because it's going to be a tough one. But changing things up to 4 tools, especially at this time of the year, it's probably not something to experiment with. Really, it's probably not going to work. Someone's going to have to miss out. And like I said earlier, Gunston and Chol are our leading goal kickers. They've been in there all season. Chol's our second ruck. Kalsha's come back. He's played well. And Lewis is our main forward at his best. So really, it's going to be most likely Kalsha that misses out. Because if you take Gunston out, you're losing experience. You're losing our best goal kicker for the season. We've seen how consistent he's been. So it's a good headache to have. But yeah, like someone's going to have to miss out. One of our tall forwards is going to miss out on a spot in the finals. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and yeah, thank you for watching.